Goeiedag aan al ons kykers hier op Praag TV, ons eie YouTube kanaal, wat besig is om drasties toe te neem in invloed en kykergetalle.
Okay, great. I think we can maybe launch into the second part where
I wanted to say one more thing, but I didn't want to interrupt. I just feel that if we're going to hold people accountable and there's a standard in the world of what's acceptable and what's not, it needs to apply to everyone. If it's genocide, and I've studied the framework of analysis, the Geneva Convention, the Rome Statute, and it doesn't say anywhere in any of those documents what color you have to be to have a genocide committed against you. It also doesn't have a time frame or a number.
Yes, you're quite right. I think it's almost like something like Kant's moral imperative that it should apply to everybody across the board. You can't have double standards, one standard for some people and another for other types of people. And I think that's what we've been suffering under for a long time. We've been very harshly judged.
Have you read the framework of analysis, Dan?
No, I haven't.
Definition of genocide.
Okay.
You need to, because you will be floored. There are 8 categories that the UN laid out very clearly of what is considered genocide. In these 8 categories, there are smaller subcategories. Your people fit into all 8 categories and almost all of the subcategories.
Are you talking about the 8 phases of genocide enumerated?
Not the 8 phases. So the framework of analysis, this is the UN definition of genocide, and it's laid out in 8 sections. It doesn't necessarily go how, like, say, Genocide Watch goes from here to here, right? But it does, start at 1, go to 8, and it progresses, and it explains every single thing that makes it a genocide. It's not the number, it's not the race, it's not the time frame. Number 1 is the dehumanization, the brutality, the seeking to dehumanize, the rapes, women, children. Another huge factor in there is keeping you from getting jobs, especially government jobs. Also, it speaks on land, and it speaks on past injustices, perceived or not, whether they happened or not. These are all factors of having a genocide committed against you. It speaks on not being able to get government jobs. So you're being kept from the military, things like that. It's all an attempt to take this group of people, suppress everything that makes them human, and make them feel they're not human, and take away everything from them, being forced into living conditions that could cause death, squatter camps. It's all in there. It's very shocking.
Yes, I'll definitely have a look at that document, and I must thank you for bringing it under my attention. And it's certainly true that
it floored me.
They're also trying to destroy our heritage very much. They're trying to even take our language out of the schools and out of the universities. They have actually destroyed some of our physical heritage in the forms of libraries and statues and artworks,
right,
and so on. Artworks in public collections have disappeared. They've sold them off. And Yeah, and they've just cast this cloud of suspicion on everything about us. And you must
I
have heard
know
the
that
latest
they,
controversy about the flag. In
yes,
actual
I
fact,
was,
yesterday the court here in Johannesburg said that from now on it will be a crime to display the orange, white, and
hate
blue flag.
speech, and it will be DSTEM next, and then it will be Afrikaans as a language.
Yes, you're perfectly right there, and I see it coming. And a lot of people on social media yesterday and today said exactly the same thing, that it's going to be step by step, and they're going to take it was the flag, and then it's going to be the
I
stem,
did read what the Nelson Mandela Foundation had to say about the issue.
And what was your
And,
what was your sense of it? Sitting there in America, where you are free to do what you want, say what you want. You've got the First Amendment. I mean, you can hoist
right.
any flag you like.
Well, I was pissed, just to be quite honest. What else can you take from these people? I mean, what more do you want? They can't even, I'll just be honest with you, there would be no South Africa. It would not exist without the people that made that flag. And it would be just like the rest of Africa. And I mean, that may be a truth that people don't want to hear, but it's true. And history is history. Like it or not, there are good and bad in every civilizations. And look, I don't live there, so I don't make assumptions. I don't know if everything was good, if everything was bad. What I know is something was working because it was a first world country. And in 25 years, it's a third world country, pretty much. There is a problem. I was horrified.
Well, you've seen what our inner cities look like.
Oh my God, is a place that I wouldn't be safe to go. But it's kind of funny. I mean, it's kind of crazy because as a Texan, I've actually experienced a little bit of the same thing, just not on the extreme level that you will be charged with hate speech, right? So they have taken issue with the Confederate flag.
Yes.
It's now racist. And
but
for me,
are you
as
still
a native
allowed
Texan,
to fly the flag from your house? Or
yes, of course they would outlaw it if they could. Our Constitution for now keeps this from happening. A lot of places won't sell it, which is fine. Like, look, I don't fly it at my house, I don't care, but if I want to, I should have the right. And because my ancestors fought and died in that war for the sovereignty of Texas, that has nothing to do with racism. That has to do with this land and the people who died, and their blood and sweat and tears are in this land. That's what that flag represents for me, for a native born Texan whose family has been here for generations after generations.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly how we feel about the orange, white, and blue flag, because it came from the Netherlands with us, and from those very small beginnings in 1652 and 1657 when we first
before
got
America existed.
Yes, and from there onwards, it's always been with us, and now they're taking it away from us. And but New York was also founded by the Dutch, and to this day, the New York City flag and the New York State flag also has orange, white, and blue. And that would mean that
I knew that actually.
after this court judgment from yesterday, potentially it could be illegal to possess a New York City flag in South Africa. I mean, how does that strike you?
Just everything there is so absurd to me. You have a murder rate as a whole of 34.2 of 100,000 in your country, which is as big as Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, our murder rate is like 2 of 100,000, and we have 52 states. You make up 2 of our states in size, and only 8% of these murders are ever solved. So you don't have anything better to put through the court system. To me, that is just completely absurd.
Yes, well, you know,
And unacceptable.
now got these ideological crimes that they want to find us guilty of. We've got these equality courts, and they sentence people to prison for using the wrong word, but in fact, you've got a
Right.
92% chance of getting away with murder.
I know, isn't that insane? I've spoken about this, about Vicky Momberg before. It was completely unfair what was done to her, especially taking into consideration what had just happened to her.
Yes, she was a victim of a
and
crime.
That the police, yeah, and that they were not doing anything. She was under a great amount of stress and anxiety, you know, and we're human. Everybody makes mistakes, you know. I'm not saying it was right, but did she deserve to go to prison? No. It's what the problem is, that we live in a society of weak-minded people who they think their feelings are hurt, that you should be held accountable. Well, not everyone is responsible for how you feel. That's a lot of times your problem. You know, if someone doesn't set out maliciously to harm you or to insult you, or, you know, that's something inside of you. That's an inadequacy that you feel, or it's something that you need to fix within yourself. And it's not going to go away, no matter how many flags you ban.
Well, thank you, Brandi, for that straight shooting opinion.
Sorry, I get very upset about these issues because nothing makes sense.
Well, maybe in the next part we can talk a little bit more about the violence and how you personally come to experience it, in the sense that you're talking to people to whom bad things have happened, or you've had contact with people who have shared such experiences with you. So until the next video, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.